Hello, my most amazing artists. How are you today? Today I am talking with my 2G scholars, and we are going to look at this worksheet that's in your packet. So make sure you have that in front of you. We are going to do a practice page on observation drawing. And this page is going to help us get ready for next week's assignment when we study an amazing artist named Paul Cézanne, and we check out how he painted different still life paintings. Still life paintings are when you set things up exactly how you want them and then you draw or paint them. And so today we are going to try observation drawing, which means that we're going to we're going to observe carefully something and draw it. Observation drawing is kind of the thing that I call art eyes. If you remember me talking about that in class. Art eyes, when I say use your art eyes, I mean don't draw what you think you see. Draw what you really see. So for example, if you were looking at my face and you were going to try to draw me, you would notice that this side of my face is highlighted. The sun is shining in this window, and this side of my face is lighter colors than this side. This is kind of in the shadow. So this would be lighter paint, and this would be darker paint. This side looks lighter blue, this side looks darker blue. Now that same thing happens, of course, with anything you look at. So for example, on your page, the very first picture is an apple. Now I went down to my kitchen and I found an apple. I couldn't find a green one, but I found one that has some red and yellow tones in it. Now if you look at this apple, do you see a bright, shiny spot? You can see right over here that the highlight, again, is on the same side as my window. And the shadow side is over here. So today, I really want you to pay attention to what you actually see, not what you just think you see. You might go, oh, that's a red apple, color the whole thing red. That's not putting in the highlights and the shadows. And the highlights and the shadows are what make art look more realistic. So you can either observe these actual pictures and draw what you see over here, or you can go to your kitchen and you can find some food and you can look at it and draw that in your square instead of what's there. So I am going to try drawing a few of those foods, and you can go along with me and draw what I draw, or you can just watch and then draw what you want to draw. Don't forget to use your art eyes and observe what's actually there. I am going to use pencil to draw the apple in the first box. So you can just use a regular pencil. Make sure you have an eraser. I also have this very cool thing called a blending stump. And if you don't have that fancy thing, then you might want to grab a Q-tip to use for blending, or you can use your fingers too. All right, so I'm not going to color the apple. I'm just going to use pencil. That's your choice though. You could use colored pencils or crayons to use color as long as you can still do shading. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look carefully at the size of the apple, and I'm going to try to make sure my sketch is the same size. So I'm starting here with this kind of a dip down, and then I'm just thinking, how close do I want it over here? How close to the side should it be over here? And how close to the bottom? And I'm putting little guidelines. And then I can go back and use little sketching lines to try to make the shape of the apple. When you use little sketching lines, usually you can draw a little bit lighter, and so you can erase it if it's not quite the shape you want. So I'm looking at my apple, it looks like it has a pointier bottom than this one, so I'm going to erase a little bit on the sides and try to make it a little flatter on the bottom. Okay, now I see a stem up here, so I'm going to add that stem right there. And now I need to start some shading. So I'm going to look at where the highlights are, and I'm going to just kind of put in some light shapes that might look like the shape of the highlights. And then I'm going to look where the shadows are. And I can see some dark shadowing here and especially on the bottom. So I'm going to start filling that in with my pencil. And you'll notice that I try to color in short little strokes, and I lay my pencil almost flat so that I can get more color or more pencil on there. Instead of lines, it just kind of gives it some shading. And then I'm going to pause every once in a while, and I'm going to blend it. So if I use a Q-tip, you'll see it just kind of blends it into a shadow, and it looks less like coloring with pencil and more like just a shadow. So I'm going to keep doing that, and you can watch while I continue. Okay, so that's my apple, and you can see I even used my eraser to put in some of those little light dots that you may see in the original picture. Okay, now the next one I'm going to do is the lemon, and I also have my orange here that I cut, but I kind of like the lemon better because it has some seeds in it that might be fun to draw. So I am going to use my pencil again to draw the lemon, and I want you to notice that inside the lemon there are these shiny bits where you can tell the light is reflecting off the juicy part. So I don't know if you can see the shiny bits when I shine my real orange around, but that's what's going on there. So let's sketch that and shade that in. So you may have noticed in both of these that there were times when I used my eraser as a tool for drawing. I shaded in all of the juicy wedges, but then I took my eraser to put some of those bright highlights into it, so it looked more like it was shiny. So I'm just cleaning, and then I just clean up some of my edges with the eraser too. All right, now for the last one, I want to color the strawberry using crayons so I can show you how that works. Instead of using pencil on this one, we'll try crayons. Now you can choose to do pencil or however you want to do it. Colored pencils might work too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to use my pencil just to kind of draw the outline. I'm going to think about where the strawberry is located on the page, how big it looks. I'm going to notice with my art eyes the shape of it. I'm not going to just pretend it's a perfect shaped strawberry. It has this kind of funky little curve over here, so I'm going to make sure I include that. And then I'm going to put the leaves on as I see them as well. Okay. Then I'm going to switch over to my crayons. So I picked out a few different shades of red. You'll notice down here that it's a darker shade, and so I found a darker shade of red. So I'm going to try that one down here. It's it's okay to mix colors too. That makes it look more realistic. And I'm gonna try out the regular red color and see how that looks. And you can see up in this part of the strawberry, it has kind of an orangish glow to it. So I'm gonna just lay down some yellow orange first. And then I'm going to try to kind of mix in a little bit of this red color. And then there's some shiny parts around here, so I'm gonna just use a lighter red and just kind of color more lightly here. And then try to blend it. All right, so there we go. Those are 3 different ways to draw observation drawings. And remember, you can draw what's on this paper, or you can get an actual piece of food from your kitchen, put that in front of you, and then draw what you see. All right, I can't wait to see what you create.